Good evening. I would like to call this meeting in Hatch Valley Public Schools to order. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. It is 6 p.m. We will go ahead and get started with a roll call. New member, Bouvet.
Here.
Member Legareta.
Here.
Member Garay.
Here.
Secretary Montes.
Here.
And myself, Vice President Gonzalez, are all present. Could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among human cultures. I'd like to welcome our new member, Steve Bouvet. Today is his first meeting, and the very first item up there is the swearing in of our new board member, Mr. Steve Bouvet Jr.
Share up here. A little more this way, guys.
You're not on camera.
Yeah, come on this way. One on each
There
side.
I am. Oh, man. Now we know who you are.
This is going to cost you. You go, Steve, I need you to put your hand there, right? You put your left hand there and you raise your right. Like that. Okay. And then just repeat after me. Okay. I, Steve Bouvet Jr.,
I, Steve Bouvet Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the State of New Mexico,
of the State of New Mexico,
that I faithfully
that I faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of
and the office of
school board member
school board member
on which I am about to enter
on which I am about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome aboard officially.
Thank you.
The first item on here is the organization of the board, and that's the president, vice president, and secretary. Do I have a motion at this time to open up the floor for nominations for the office of president?
I move the nominations be open.
Okay, second?
So move.
Okay, we'll just do a vote. All those in favor of opening nominations, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Motion carries. So would anybody like to place a nomination forth for the office of president?
I would like to nominate Chris Montes for president.
I second it.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Mrs. Garay for vice president.
This is only
Just
for
the president?
president at this time. Only for president right now.
Okay.
Any other nominations for president? Okay. All those in favor of Mr. Montes as our new board president, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Montes, it is your show now.
You want to wait till next month?
No. It's all yours.
All right. We'll continue. At this time, I would like to ask for a nomination for vice president.
I would like to nominate Steve Bouvet.
Can I second?
Yeah.
Yes. I second the motion.
Ask for other nominations if there are.
Any other nominations on the table? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on, I would like to accept any nominations for board secretary, and I would like to see if Mrs. Garay would be willing to be our board secretary.
Sure. Well, you need a second.
I'll
Ask for a
second that.
Second.
Any other motions on the table for secretary, board secretary? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, we're ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, item number one, approval of consent agenda. The approval of agenda, approval of minutes, regular board meeting, June 2026. Does anybody have any questions about the consent agenda?
No.
No.
Can I get a motion to approve as written?
So, President Montes, just real quickly,
Yes.
just for the record, it's important to go over, make sure we list those maintenance bars individually,
Yes, sir.
just so that it's legal.
Alrighty. To include C, approval of June 2026 bills, and D, approval of budget adjustments, requests, transfers, cash requests, including maintenance bars fiscal year 26, 27552, and fiscal year 27, increase bars fiscal year 26, 24153, 24103, 21,000, and fiscal year 27, 13,000 and 28198. Decrease bar
We don't have
and
any.
transfer fiscal year 26, 41,000, and fiscal year 27, 41,000. Anybody have any questions on,
So moved.
Seconded.
do I need to get a,
Just say motion carries.
motion carries?
You have to vote.
Huh?
You have to
I
vote.
vote, yes, sorry.
have to vote.
Correct, you have to
We
vote
do.
individually.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Number two, moving on, superintendent's report.
President Montes, members of the board, congratulations all on your new positions, number one. Thank you all for being here this evening. On the superintendent's report today, we start with our school board training hours. So I'm going to ask Mr. Isaac if he can get those up for us.
I'm done.
Actually, no, we have one. So, as Isaac gets this report up for us, it does show each of our board members, and this report is intended to provide an update for the board as we enter the second half of the calendar year. This report is as of last week, so there may be something missing. As part of the accreditation process, we are required to ensure that our board meets these standards, and we also want to ensure that if there's any training that has not been properly recorded, that we work with the state to update this. And a little more information, so this is available on the state website. If you need that link, I can share it with you all. But I wanted to bring it to your all's attention because the interesting part is you may have the hours, but sometimes there is a section missing, and each board member has to meet each section or have at least 1 hour in each section. So all the blue is completed. The pinks are areas where you might be missing something. This does run from January to December for each calendar year. So we do have time before December. However, it's important to understand, and we'll bring more information to you all next month on our accreditation process. Ms. Carrie Hernandez is putting together a report so you all understand what that full process looks like for us. But this is one of the steps in it that does involve you all. The rest is pretty much stuff we got to take care of. So just giving you some updates and some information as to where we currently stand. Are there any questions about this report? Any comments?
Just an FYI, I did attend training Friday, Saturday in Taos.
Sure.
So the new one that was updated Monday?
Yes.
It's all green.
Cool, perfect.
I'm done.
And so we printed this last week when we were getting ready, so, yep. Any other comments, questions? Cool, okay, thank you. The next part of the superintendent's report is, it's been a busy summer with a few staff movements and quite a few new hires. At this time, I would like to invite our Director of Human Resources to provide the board with some updates on human resources for the summer. Ms. Vigil, the show is yours.
Good evening.
Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. Again, my name is Carolyn Vigil. I'm the Director of Human Resources, and I would like to go over a board report with you. I'd like to draw your attention, if you have the form in front of you, to the vision and mission statement that we've created for Human Resources. I felt that it was important to align our department with the vision of the district. So I took a little bit of what we have currently as from our motto and integrated that into our vision, which is elevating the employee experience, one employee at a time. Our mission, the Hatch Valley Public Schools Human Resources Team, is dedicated to the well-being and success of every employee. So those will be that's going to be our vision and our mission moving forward. Executive summary. So as of July 16, 2026, the district has 227 budgeted positions across 5 campuses and central office. Of these, 223 are filled and 4 are vacant, which gives us an overall fill rate of 98.2. So we're almost at full capacity. This reflects the speech pathologist position, which we recently closed on, and we've offered the position, and Ms. Teresa Lopez is our new SLP for the district, and she started on Monday, I believe. So that position is filled, which is a very hard position for us to fill, and so we're very fortunate to have Ms. Lopez join our team. The other position that we have that's hard to fill, we're still looking for applicants, is a school psychologist position. I've met with Ms. Taryn Fogel, who is the director of that department, and we've decided to repost the position. It was my recommendation that we contract services through CES. However, she opted to repost the position for 5 more days, so we're going to repost. And at the end of that recruitment, if we don't have any applicants, then she is going to submit an RFP for that position so that the district does not do without a school psychologist. Another item that I'd like to add to our summary is the district has implemented E-Verify. So E-Verify is a web-based system operated by the Department of Homeland Security Administration. So it allows employers to electronically confirm and verify newly hired employees are legally and authorized to work in the United States. So this was implemented in June, and we've used it ever since for new hires. So what it does is, rather than us have a file of Form I-9s, we run it through the Department of Homeland Security, and it gives us an automatic result letting us know if that employee is eligible to work or not. So that's been working well for us. I'm going to get Elsa next trained on that so that she can continue to use, so that we can use it. Any questions on that? So staffing, the table that you see there is just a breakdown of what I indicated in the summary by location. So you can see the vacancies there, individual by location, and then the percentage of vacancy.
Isaac, can you scroll up to the schools real quick, please? Thank you, sir.
So not a lot of vacancies, which I think is good from a human resources perspective. It doesn't. It shows that we as a district don't have a high turnover rate. We tend to keep our employees, so that's a plus for us. I did notate there on the bottom as a footnote that this SLP position is counted as filled, because when I ran the report, it ran it as a vacancy because I hadn't entered the employee into the system yet. But she has accepted the offer, like I mentioned earlier, and she's already working and will be onboarded on Monday. The current vacancies report shows 4. However, as of this report, the teacher Hatch Valley position for high school, we closed it, and then we had a repost because we did not have any qualified applicants for that position. So that has been reposted for 5 days. The elementary vacancy for bilingual teacher also reposted yesterday, and that will be open for 5 days. We do have some applicants that have called interested in that position, so I'm hoping that we do have those positions filled by at least the beginning of the school year, so we don't do without, especially the ELD position at the high school level. Educational assistant at Rio Grande was filled, and then the bus assistant transportation position, I believe, was already filled. So just going back to the critical vacancy that I was talking about earlier, the SLP and the school psychologist, those are the 2 that stick out in my mind because those are vital positions that we need at the district level. So again, it was open for more than 90 days when I came on board, And when I came on board, I went in and put end dates on all the positions that we had open. So rather than be open until filled, we ended those positions with having an end date, reviewed applicants, and then went through that process. No one applied for the school psychologist position, so we posted it for 10 days. Still no applicants. And then in meeting with Ms. Vogel, like I mentioned earlier, she wanted it reposted, and then if not, we're going to RFP.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there an issue on why nobody's applying? Is there psychologists, is there a shortage of them, or is?
They're hard to find, and I looked at other districts, and a lot of districts are hiring school psychologists. That's one of the questions I asked as well, and it's location. You know, Las Cruces, you're 45 minutes away, El Paso's an hour away, so it's just not only location, but also they're hard to find, because there are so many openings right now that they're grabbing them as they graduate. But I have reached out to ENMU, who has a psychologist program, a graduate program, and I reached out to NMSU, letting them know that we're hiring, so they were going to let their graduates know that we had a vacancy.
Is our salary comparable to other districts?
It is.
It is?
It is. Yep.
So, Mr. Bouvet, members of the board, just some free information is mental health providers across the state are in high demand. As a state, we are not meeting, we're not outputting or creating the certified applicants or the certified people to handle all the needs of our state. So it's nothing that we're only dealing with. It's state level, it's hospitals, it's everybody's. Finding the mental health providers for our state is very difficult. So there's a lot of competition, I guess you could say, for those people when they come out of school. They have options.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
maybe once we get the teacherage, but that one's just for teachers, right?
So I am looking at other things, creativity to get these positions filled, but within, of course, within law and
Yeah.
federal and state law. So like I mentioned, I'm going to start going to career fairs and start putting our name out there, getting with juniors and seniors who are about to graduate, letting them know that we have opportunities here as well.
Correct.
Salary is comparable, benefits are comparable. So I think it's mainly just right now everyone's getting a job, so
Right.
it's a job market for them. So personnel movement this period, so since I've been here since July 1, we've had new hires, but they were actually in-district transfers who filled vacancies that we had within the district. So we had current employees fill vacancies. The SLP was finally filled, as I've mentioned. Recruitment and hiring, so active recruitment, that is ongoing with the two mentioned there that I've highlighted previously. And average time to fill, which is a KPI that's measured by any human resource professional, and that's being currently assessed through Frontline. We've recently launched Frontline, which is our application platform for anyone considering working at Hatch Valley Public Schools. So at the end of probably a semester or a year, I'll look and see what that average time to fill is. And the reason why it's important for me as an HR director is I want to know how long it's taking for us to fill positions, how long it's taking for us to offer. As we know, if you're waiting for a job offer, an applicant can take a job somewhere else. So if we don't hurry, go through that process expeditiously, then we could lose a candidate, and that actually happened. So we need, that's why I want to measure that time to make sure that I have processes in place that we expedite that process. Hiring process improvements. I don't know if it's necessarily improvement, because when I came on board, Elsa had a phenomenal foundation already laid out that I just had to build upon. So it's not really an improvement. I would say it's streamlining it. So recently we structured the hiring panel system, which is now in place, and this was to improve consistency and reduce hiring risk. So what has been created is a packet for the hiring panel chair. So it's a packet that outlines the process, a rubric, standardized rubric for all positions, and then they have a section where they can integrate their department-specific or position-specific questions that they'd like to assess the applicant on. It has a confidentiality agreement in there for every panel member to read and sign, And then also, we are no longer scoring applicants. We are going to assess them on whether they meet the need of or meet the position, the qualifications, doesn't meet, or exceeds expectations. Those are the 3 levels of criteria that we will be assessing applicants. We have a 2-track governance, so 1-step process is going to be for non-administrative roles, and a 2-step process for assistant principals and above. What that means is, the 1-step process means that the hiring panel will have the hiring manager on it, so that they can discuss it and make that determination with them involved in that discussion. The 2-step process is where they're not left on the panel, or they can be left on the panel, and then it would go to the superintendent to choose between 2 candidates or 3 candidates that were moved forward. Universal and position-specific interview rubrics, which I just mentioned, a coordinator checklist, and a panel member confidentiality agreement. So we have the interview rubrics that I've integrated, a checklist for the panel committee chair or coordinator, and then a confidentiality agreement that needs to be signed by every panel member. We've also created applicant screening tool with full INMAC citations to support defensible compliant selection. So when we are going through applicants to determine if they meet the minimum requirements to be moved forward to the hiring manager, we go off of a checklist to see if they meet the mins, and if they do, then we will move those candidates forward. And that's just so that we have documentation that we objectively went through each applicant to ascertain if they meet minimum requirements. So that's documented, and we'll follow that recruitment process through the life cycle of that recruitment. Several processes have been streamlined or newly implemented to strengthen compliance, internal controls, and district-wide tracking. As I mentioned, E-Verify was implemented in June 26, so all new hires now run through E-Verify, strengthening employment eligibility verification and standardizing onboarding compliance. Electronic personnel action request is in progress. This E-PAR will take the place of our paper PAR that we currently use, which Sheila did a great job of implementing that. I believe we didn't have anything in place, so she had forethought in creating that. So we're just going to take it 1 step further and use a digital form of that. So what that'll do is allow us to track when we have staff terminations, when we're hiring, any type of movement on a personnel, or any type of personnel action on an employee. And it also will help us with key performance indicators, like I mentioned earlier, retention, turnover rate, and several others. Payroll and benefits realignment. So the payroll and benefits clerk position has been moved under human resources to better align its duties with HR functions and to ensure the separation of duties required by INMAC 6.20.2.11, internal control structured standards, which requires districts to segregate the authorization, recording, and custody functions of a transaction. So now we have that separation of duties, and we're in alignment with INMAC. So now that person in that position reports to human resources, processes payroll, and finance has the final approval and purview of reviewing the payroll before it gets submitted, before we hit the button. Forms and tools created. Again, we created a VOE form, which is a standardized verification form. So prior to us creating this form, we would have employers email us. How many hours does this person have? How many days have they worked? What are their experience hours? What do they look like? So we created a Google form. So now when anyone requests a employment verification form in order to appropriately compensate an employee, we send them the link, and then they fill it out, and then we fill out the hours and submit it back to them, so they have we have documentation that we sent it and we can track it. A new hire tracking form is a centralized form to track new hires through the onboarding process. So Elsa and I both have access to this. Dr. Montalvo and Sheila have back-end access to this if they ever need to view it. Someone calls and says, hey, I don't know where I'm at in the onboarding process. They can look at this form and say, oh, we still need you to bring your social security card, or we need you to do your background checks. It'll give you a snapshot of where that person is at in that onboarding process. And then licensure tracking form, again, it's to monitor educator licensure status and renewal timelines. So every employee who has a license or a licensed position will now be tracked so that we know when they're approaching expiration date. If they've requested to advance, we know where they're at in that advancement process, whether it's being bottlenecked at PED or if it's something that we're not turning over quickly, is it on us? So that's more or less why I wanted to have it. Progress on building HR infrastructure and modernizing systems. Again, it's the ongoing work across Frontline, E-Verify, iVisions, and Vector Solutions, which is our training platform for the district. So right now, recently, we've looked through Vector Solutions, looked at all the modules in there to ensure that we're compliant with state, federal, and NMAC requirements for training for our district staff. And that was ready to launch on Friday, so that's going to go out to all new employees, or all employees on Friday with the closing date of October 1st. Employee handbook, that is in review, and we should have that out ready to be published by Friday. Okay. And what we did with the handbook is we restructured it so that it's consistent throughout the sections that we wanted them, and then the schools could go in there and add their school-specific information that they wanted to add. But what I found is that we had different handbooks for the high school, for the middle school. So we wanted to standardize that and make it consistent so that employees understood what was the expectation. So building the HR function as the district's first dedicated, I don't know if first dedicated, that was a recommendation that I put. But the department has established infrastructure that did not previously exist and is now operational. I don't want to say that it didn't exist because, like I mentioned, if it wasn't for Elsa and Sheila and her team, there would be nothing for me to build on. It would be totally in the dark. But they laid a good foundation for me to come in and just streamline some processes and put some modernization into some of our processes that we had in place already. So again, just to highlight, a structured compliant hiring panel system with rubrics and confidentiality agreements, replacing an ad hoc process. We standardized position descriptions supported by a master language reference. So job descriptions now have consistent language throughout, except where there's job specific. So nothing's really changed about the job descriptions, just the formatting and how they look. So we've added the Hatch Valley logo on there, and if it's a certified or classified position. An automated paperless verification of employment workflow, centralized new hire and licensure tracking forms, and a restructured single source employee handbook. Forthcoming will be exit surveys to track resignations. I'd like to know, why our people leave? What is it that we could do differently? What do we need to improve upon? So for me, it's just knowing why do they leave when they leave. And then reporting that information out. And then staff satisfaction surveys, that's a tongue twister, will be forthcoming. So I'll be sending out a staff satisfaction survey probably like in 90 days. So I'll be happy to report those results to the board as soon as I get them and analyze them. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I know I said a lot.
Before Ms. Vigil leaves, just going back to Vector Solutions, so the board's aware, in our review, we did identify that we're missing a couple of trainings. So we have added some trainings to our staff, Vector Solutions. So unfortunately, our staff may have some grumbles about that, but they are going to have a few more modules to work through this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked at those and I had to make sure that we were in compliance. And we were out of compliance a little bit, and I had to add some, but it's just to keep us in compliance and to ensure that, our staff is trained.
And that's top to bottom,
Yes.
across the
Everybody-
board.
Everyone has to take it. As a matter of fact, yesterday when we met with our coaches, we stressed that. One of the issues that we found that our coaches didn't have access to that because they didn't have a district email. So Mr. Sanchez and Andrew and Ms. Vigil worked with Andrew and his team, and all of our coaches will have a district email now, so they have access to all of this. Yes.
Will we get a copy of the employee guidelines so we can see it?
The handbook? Yes, absolutely. Yep. Any more questions?
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vigil. It's okay, members of the board, next on our agenda is our migrant program update. So as you may or may not be aware, the New Mexico Public Education Department Migrant Education Program falls under Title I, Part C, and it provides supplemental academic and support services to children of migratory and agricultural workers. For the past couple of years, I would say about 10 years, this program has operated under Las Cruces Public Schools and their districts, so the funding goes to the district to hire those positions, and the staff of that program have actually been employees of LCPS and housed in LCPS. PED reached out to us about 2 months ago, looking for a home for that program. So they've asked us if we are willing to house that program, which for us will include the funding coming straight from the state. So it doesn't really impact our funding per se. It is a grant that the state gets from the federal government, flows through to us, and it really does just cover the employees and the resources that they need. It will also bring some vehicles to the district because they do travel quite a bit as they're going to visit with family. They travel across the state to recruit families and to make sure that they're meeting the needs of all the students. So I have not read it yet. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I got it about 4 o'clock today. I think Sheila and I both got the application and their proposal for us as a district. We have agreed to accept the program starting October 1st. So between now and the next couple of weeks, Sheila and I will be working through that funding formula and what that looks like. It will require us to hire a director, a coordinator, and 2 to 3 recruiters, depending on the funding, what that looks like. Now, understanding that this is grant money, we are going to put in their contracts as we post these positions that they're grant funded, so that if the grant goes away, the district is not required to keep or obligated to keep them hired. That money goes away, their jobs go away. And so that's something we're going to move across district-wide as we hire new people and bring them on, because we do have some people hired under other grants. And that'll help us cut back as well on our staffing a little bit as we work through that, and we make sure that we're properly staffed and we're using our budget accurately. So we do look forward to bringing this program on board. The current director and coordinator from LCPS have been encouraged to apply, and so they would like to come work here. They do a lot of their work in our district anyway, and they're very familiar with the program. Again, it'll be a competitive hiring process. It'll be open to anybody who wants to apply. So it's not like it's set for somebody specifically. But as we move closer to that, we are gonna post those positions August 1st, so that we can have them hired and ready to go in October. We'll start with the director, then the coordinator, and then we'll start hiring the recruiters with October 1st start dates. It is going to require some additional positions on our salary schedule. So as we get into the month of August and we look at this contract with the state, Sheila and I will bring those to you so the board can approve those new salary schedules. However, it does fit in with our salary schedule pretty well. I think Sheila and I have a pretty good plan for that. We just need to look at what they're offering us in the grant. So I look forward to that. It's a great opportunity for our community, great opportunity for the district, and I'll stand for any questions on that.
How many staff will we be adding?
Ideally, 4 to 5.
4 to 5?
Yes,
All bilingual,
all bilingual, yes, with the primary job of supporting migrant families,
correct.
yes.
What was I don't know if they would have told you, but why are they moving it from Las Cruces here?
So, in all honesty, the program that they're in their grant is very specific into what they can spend. And trying to match what they're doing in Las Cruces Public Schools and the staffing that they have there they're kind of outbidding themselves, and they're having to pay those employees quite a bit more because of some pay structures in Las Cruces Public Schools, and it's really taking away from what the grant can do because all their money's going to staffing. And so they were looking for a new place where they could adjust that a little bit, and we're willing to work with them. And I think it also brings some jobs to our community because, I mean, even if we hire local recruiters, that'd be, 2 to 3 jobs that we bring to our community. Any other questions, Mr. President, members of the board? Migrant program? Cool. So we are looking forward to bringing that program forward. Updates on the student handbook. During May's board meeting, the board had asked us to look at our student handbooks in regards to dress code. In your packets is the updated dress code section. I would like to thank Mr. Zamora and our principals for taking the time to provide feedback and align the process for students at all our schools. Isaac, did I send you that? I don't know if I did, but if not, you do have it in your packets. and I'll go over the highlights of that. Did I send you that, Isaac? No? Okay, I apologize. So if you look at the dress code in your packets, really what we took out, and we added and I think we fixed, and I want to, like I said, the principals really worked hard on this, is under the do not wear section, there were some questions about shorts and pajamas, and a lot of districts and a lot of schools have used, and it wasn't even consistent across our schools. It was different at every school, as to arm length, where your shorts are at, a couple of inches, whatever. So what our principals agreed on was shorts should not be more than one envelope's width across, a standard mailing envelope with above the knee. And that way it's consistent across the district, not just for one school having one. I always look at students, right? They shrug their shoulders, they extend their shoulders, because for years, the arm length has been used as short length. We've also taken out the ability for students to wear pajamas, except on specific days where they have school events or they have a spirit day. So one of the big ones was pajamas and making sure that our students are dressed appropriately to school. This is the updated part of the dress code. Hopefully you've had some time to look it over, but do we have any questions for the dress code?
I'm sure we do. Do we have clothes at the schools in case we need to dress them?
So I'm looking at our principals, but most of
They're
our,
all saying yes.
they're all shaking their heads. Most of them do, but we're lucky also is we have the clothing pantry next door, which is a great resource. So we
That's
can either bring some clothes to the student or bring the student over here, whatever we need to do
Yes.
under the appropriate
you.
supervision. So we do have those amazing options. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions on dress code? Okay, so that completes my superintendent's report this evening. If you have any other questions or comments, I'll stand for those questions.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sports physicals. I just saw a post today that they have to make an appointment. Is there a reason, and of course you're new, is there a reason why, what? Why what? I can't ask that question? Huh?
They don't.
They don't what?
Tuesday, Wednesday, they don't have to make an appointment.
Oh, it said people with appointments are first or something. It said something to appointments. But my question is, in the past, we've had a health fair, and we had one day, or they would do it at the school from this time to this time. All the kids would line up and get their physicals done.
So, Mr. Sanchez, I'm glad you're here. If you don't mind coming to the podium and answer that question, 'cause I do not have that information.
It's been a couple of years since we've done that.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. And we've tried doing it before. The problem is, what we've ran into is bringing in providers. And I don't know the total technical, but what happened was some of the providers couldn't get coverage to come here and do that. So there's partnerships, whether you're doing with La Clinica or whoever, and that was an issue. The other issue was when we did that, we were only getting one provider, and what was happening was parents were waiting 4 or 5 hours. Like when I was one of those parents that sat there one time, I waited 3 hours for my son to get seen. Working with Ben Archer, they're doing the 27th, 28th, 29th, which is next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just physicals from 8 to 3. And they're taking walk-ups
Here.
at the high school.
At the high school?
High school, correct.
Okay.
And so we're doing that. So we're trying something a little different, trying to do that. And as we work with Shannon, who's stationed at the high school, we're looking at the end of this coming school year to try to get those physicals in before they leave, because after the April deadline, they're good to get them in April for the remainder of the next school year. So the reason we don't do it, though, is one is the wait, and two is finding providers that can come down to Hatch and provide those services.
Are we having just one provider those days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yes, but it's in-house, some things she's trying to improve the process and make the process faster.
What about middle school kids?
There's no school next week, so just a
there's no
reminder.
school next
So it's open to
I thought we
anybody,
were open next week. No?
Just staff.
just staff,
Oh, okay,
so for everybody.
okay. Hopefully it works.
Yeah.
I want to know that it works.
Me too, very much so.
So we're partnering with Mrs. Reagan Donahue? Is that who it is, or somebody else?
No, Reagan, that's not my conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
No, Shannon Rodriguez is the.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yes. All right, thank you.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you all. Anyone else? Good, okay. Mr. President, it's all yours.
Okay, item number 3, limited public comment. Nobody? Okay, moving on. Item number 4, unfinished business. A, consider approval and adoption of the NMSBA Policy Advisories 273, 274, second reading.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, these policies were previously presented to the board. The district has not received any other feedback on the policies. 273, if you recall, outlines the process under which districts can and should have employees evaluated by a medical professional. It also identified that a medical professional does not have to be a doctor. Policy 274 is related to the policy for inspection of public records. It identifies that districts should charge for these requests, and it provides a new timeline for responding, which is now 15 days to provide requests for information. And the state is looking at updating this policy specifically due to the large number of inspection of public records requests. I will say that our district doesn't get a huge number, but even for a small district, we do get more than I imagine we would get. And it's becoming a huge issue across the state. I don't know if you all were part of that at the School Business Officials Conference, but they talked about the fact that some people are doing this to try to make money off of it. So this policy does support that and helps us in that process. Ms. Vigil has some experience in this as well, so she and Sheila have been working on a new process, and we'll be updating this on our website as well to support this. Okay. So, Mr. President, we'll need approval of that vote.
Oh, we got to vote on it today?
Yes.
Do we do a single vote, everybody?
We need a motion
Or just-
first.
So moved.
Let me get a motion to approve and adopt NMSBA Policy Advisories 273 and 274.
So moved.
All those in, second? Thank you, Mr. Bowie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, new business. Consider approval of 2026-27 school year contract with NM Grads System Child Development Component.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, the grad system provides up to $9,000 to Hatch schools through direct appropriations. It kind of funnels through the Socorro Independent School District, which is interesting, but they're, I guess, the key holder in this. It allows us to provide licensed child development services for parenting teens in conjunction with the Hatch High School students with a graduate program. So this part is for the child development portion of the grant, and it does require board approval, so we would need you all to approve accepting this grant, is what we're asking this evening.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve 2026-27 school year contract with New Mexico Grad System Child Development Component?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mrs. Garay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 5B, consider approval of 2026-27 school year contract with NM Grad System Instructional Component.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, this appropriation provides up to $18,000 to the district, again, through the Socorro School District, to provide grads program instructional services at the Hatch High School. What it does is allow us to provide this as a teaching program for our students, so they can get credit and they can learn from it. It's a great program. We have quite a few students. It's a very popular course with the students to be able to participate in this. So again, what we would need from the board this evening is approval to accept this grant.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5C, consider approval of Adelante Educational Contract for Diagnostician Services, SPE.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, as a district, we do not have a diagnostician on contract. Thus, we outsource this to vendors. Previously, the purchasing team put together an RFP. We only had one respondent, which was Adelante Services. This institution has been serving the district for approximately 10 years, and even longer than I know, as far as I've been able to find out. So having a diagnostician on staff, and again, it's like the mental health, right? They're hard to find. So we do subcontract this out to Adelante Services. going out to RFP. They were our only respondents. So again, we would need the district and the board to approve this so that we can move forward with hiring them for our diagnostician services, for our testing, for our special education students.
Was their proposal comparable to what's out there? Like money-wise?
So, Mr. President, Member Gonzalez, interesting that you bring that up because I actually asked the team to tell me how much we've spent on this. And understanding that diagnosticians, what we would pay a diagnostician if we hired our own, and what we pay them, we do save some money in that process. So it's, at this point, it wouldn't be necessary to hire somebody because we were able to supplement this with outside services, and it actually saves us a little bit of money. Okay. Instead of hiring our own. And again, they're not easy to find. Yes. So again, in order to move forward with this RFP and award the contract, we do need the board to approve that.
All righty, can I get a motion to approve as read?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item D, consider approval for Fernando Sanchez to remain as a district's NMAA official voter.
You're voting for me? Well, who are you voting for?
So, Mr. President, members of the board, as the NMAA puts out referendums to its members, each member district is required to submit an official ballot. It is customary for either the AD or the superintendent to be the voter. NMAA requires the board to agree on this as well. So, understanding that Mr. Sanchez will remain our voter, he has been since he's been in the position. He does do a good job of sharing that with me. It requires both of our signatures. If there's any referendums or any changes to NMAA policy and bylaws, we review them, we discuss them, we talk to other districts, but allowing him to be the official voter ensures that we keep that voting spot. And the NMAA does require that this be brought and presented to the board and the board approve it.
Is every school district has a voting member?
So, yes, Mr. Bouvet, Mr. President, Mr. Bouvet, you're correct. Every district has at least one for your member of schools. If coming from a larger district previously, each one of our high schools has a voting member. So the AD at every high school is considered a voting member. So depending on the size of the district, depends on how many votes you get. So Albuquerque, which is really huge, has a voter at every high school. So quite often, they have a tendency to be able to sway stuff back and forth, but that's a whole other conversation we won't get into today.
Anybody else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Bouvet.
Can I get a motion to retain Mr. Fernando Sanchez as the
So
district's NMAA official voter?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Bouvet. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 5E, consider acceptance of NMDOT fiscal year 2027 funding grant.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, this is one of those really exciting moments we get to say we're getting money. At this point, I would like to bring to the board's attention this amazing opportunity for us to accept a grant from the New Mexico Department of Transportation for paving the driveway in front of the high school. There's, as a small district, it's amazing to be able to get this funding, I will tell
Is
you.
it the high school?
It's in front of the high school, yes.
See?
Yes. So,
Parking lot.
Sarah, you sidetracked me, Miss. So ideally, this grant will cover the majority of the cost, and I would like to thank Mr. Jimmy Martinez for taking charge of this as he completed and submitted the grant on behalf of the district. He worked closely with Sheila to ensure that we had the funding to pay for our part. So the DOT's share of this paving project will be $104,000, and the district's will only be $34,000. So it's a great gift and a great opportunity to be able to do some work to our driveways, all funded by the Department of Transportation. And in your packet, there is a copy of the map of where that area is. We did apply for a larger area. It's not there? The map's not there, Elsa? Did we miss it? Sorry, I'll
No
get
map.
it to you. I apologize.
That's
I
fine.
thought we had it in there.
Usually it's just
Yeah.
Yes.
that much.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot. Paving's expensive.
Yes.
But any improvements we
But
can make are,
anything
we'll
we can
take.
get.
Yes. Do I have any questions on that?
Is this amount was already bidded out? Is that what, do I have a specific amount, or that's just what they gave us?
So ideally, what we have to do is we have to get quotes for it, and we submit the quotes, and then the DOT approves those quotes, and they give us the grant to do it, to complete the work. Yes. Granted, prices do change, Mr. Bouvet, so you never know, but ideally, well, it should be really close to that.
All right, anybody else? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5F, for review NMSBA Policy Advisory 275-278, first reading. Mr. Montalvo?
Mr. President, members of the board, please excuse, this is a bit of a long one. This evening, we bring to you for first reading some additional policies which have been updated by the New Mexico School Boards Association, our policy service. Policy 275 makes changes to the teacher residency process, where teachers in the program are not required to be hired by that district. They just have to teach within the state. And what they were finding out was that sometimes teachers were being hired as residents within districts, and then there wasn't a job for them. And it was kind of violating the process, so they've allowed it to where they can become residents, but if that district is not able to hire them, as long as they work in the state, they meet the requirements of that. So this policy updates that. The second part, in tonight's, it's going to be 276, I believe, is the board previously adopted back in 2025. The board adopted a ban on cell phones district-wide within the classrooms, okay? This new policy will require that we provide a digital citizenship training to all students on a yearly basis. So it doesn't change what you've already adopted as a school board, but what it does is requires districts to provide training to students on digital citizenship. And I've checked with our principals, we're doing some of that. It's gonna be one of those things we're gonna have to catch up on and do a little bit more of it. But at least once a year, we have to provide that to students. And then there's a couple of avenues to do that. Ms. Perry and I have talked, she texted back and forth today. They have some programs they do with kids, but it just extends that policy, and that goes into state law. It's been passed down. Okay? Policy 277 addressed AEDs, or artificial defibrillators, and it requires schools to have them at all athletic events and sporting events. So currently, this district does a pretty good job. We have them in most of our facilities. But Mr. Sanchez and I were talking about a few of our facilities where we bring one out, and we're going to see if that suffices, or do we have to have them permanently installed at each site?
Yeah, because
But
we usually carry them, no?
Yes.
But there's one at the high school for sure. At
All
the
of our
middle school? But
Yes.
for the gym, I'm saying like games in the evening.
Yes. So we'll work through that. We may have to buy a few additional AEDs. It's a great policy. You know, you never know when you're going to need it.
There's
Hopefully, we
got to
never
be
do.
grant money out there, Sheila, for that.
We'll work through that.
Should be.
Policy Advisory 278 requires anyone who works with a school district, not in a school district, but with a school district, to be a mandatory reporter on child abuse or neglect. Districts must also provide training to staff every 2 years, and we technically already cover this through our Vector Safe Schools training. It's just the policy is being updated. The key language in that is that anybody who works for the district. So as we've talked tonight, we bring in outside vendors. They're mandatory reporters now as well. Yes, which they should be, but it puts it in policy. Okay. So with this being the first reading, there's no action needed tonight. We'll bring them to you next month for finalization. Okay.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
On the residency,
Yes.
you can see that they removed the funding piece
So-
to it completely?
So my understanding is, Mr. Gonzalez, I haven't clarified this. I don't know if they removed it totally, but they lowered the amount you have to pay them, the way I understood it.
And no stipend for the mentor?
No stipend for the mentor. Yes. Interesting, correct?
Very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, no action needed. Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Thank you. 5G, discussion and possible action regarding the eligibility of classified staff to serve in coaching positions.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, after doing some research coming to the district, we've discussed, and Ms. Vihel has brought to the attention, it's not easy to find people to work always, and it's really hard to find coaches in today's world, people that want to dedicate the time, put in the effort. And it was my understanding that previously, the board had followed legislation and law saying, and agreeing to the fact that anybody in a classified position within Hatch Valley Public Schools should not be coaching or could not coach because it violated their hours. It talked about, there has been some confusion about whether a classified person coaching, is that still within their duties or separate from their duties? So I will tell you, coming from a previous district, Mrs. Vigil and I had some experience with this, is what we did was we ensured that their contract clearly delineates if you're a coach, it's outside of your teaching hours, it's outside of your EA hours, outside of your even custodial hours. And I worked through this with the district personally because I hired our lead electrician in the district as a softball coach. And so we worked at his contracts, clearly stated that that was separate from his duties, it was outside of his duties, and he could be paid for that. The clear justification is making sure it's two very separate contracts. So as we do that, it allows us to open up our opportunities to find coaches and to find positions for coaches. We have people who want to coach sometimes, but they want to come work in the district, and we don't have a teaching job. If they're willing to take an EA job, we can work with them on that. Using our time clock system, we have to be sure that they're not coaching or doing athletic activities during their time clock time, so it all has to be outside of that. And Ms. Vigil and I are working on that contract so we can clearly identify what that contract says if we do have those. I'm not saying we have anybody lined up at this time. I'm not saying that we have specific coaching positions where we want to hire an EA or anything like that, but it's going to give us the opportunity to do that. So what I'm asking the board tonight is to work with us and agree to support us in that. Like I said, it's really has to be clearly defined in their contracts, and we will make sure that that happens so that we don't end up in any lawsuits, so we don't end up in any trouble violating that. And I don't know previously if the board voted on it, it was a discussion, but I would like the board's support as we move forward with that.
What,
Do you recall? I think we supported that.
I don't remember if we voted or not, I remember we
about this.
discussed it.
Yeah.
What would you do in a situation where you have an EA that has to take a out-of-district trip during the middle of the day? Would they have to take like a,
So
some time?
either they take personal time or they use their comp time. Yes, that's what
So
we're
we
going
include
to do.
like tournaments,
Yes.
even on Thursdays, right?
Yep, they use their comp time or use their personal time.
So that would be up front to them?
Yes.
So that they could see that before they're even hired,
Correct.
because, yeah.
And we did-
legally, we won't be violating any,
No, as long as it's a separate contract, we're good. Because it's separate duties. And that's what you have to be very, very specific on, is outlining the separate duties.
Do you need a vote on this?
I would appreciate it if we did.
Oh, okay.
can we vote on it? Because it's not, possible action, yes.
Yes.
It is. All right, can I get a motion?
I just have one question before.
Yes, sir.
Do we
Sure.
have a number of approximately how many people would be two different contracts?
We don't, because like I said, right now, and Mr. Sancho, we have a few coaching vacancies, assistant coaches, not head coaching vacancies right now. All of our head coaches are filled, correct, Mr. Sancho? Yeah, we have cheer open right now. But no, we don't have anybody, Mr. Bouvet, that is lined up where we're saying we're doing this for a specific person at this time. It's just as we hire, as we move forward.
New hires.
Yes, new hires, it gives us that opportunity.
Okay, we want it to be clear.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right,
I so move that we accept.
Second.
okay. Moved by Mr. Bouvet, seconded by Mrs. Garay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item 6, items for future meetings.
I don't know,
Just
school's
received an
starting.
award. She just received an award.
School's starting. I don't know.
Yes,
Can we give her an also, or bring her up?
yes, we'll take care of that.
Can we do that next month?
Yes, I didn't expect her to be here tonight. She's actually here tonight, but yes, we'll take care of that
She
in
is?
August. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yep. We will take care of that in August.
Anything else, anybody?
No? Nothing right now.
Okay, and like I said, as members of the board, we will be bringing an accreditation report so you understand what that requires and what's included with that. I'm sure Mr. Gonzalez is very familiar with that, but we were one of the trial districts last year, and I'll be honest, it was kind of new to me coming on, that whole process. It's interesting to see, but there's a lot to it, and the way the state's kind of vetting what we do. So we'll share that with you, so it's not a surprise to any of you as we move forward.
All right. Anything else from anybody? Item 7, next board meeting, Wednesday, August 12th, 2026, at 6 PM at this same location. Now, we are doing
Yeah.
On the back.
item number 8, adjournment. Can I get a motion, please?
Seconded.
That's mine.
Moved by Ms. Garay, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Members of the board, before you leave, just a reminder, we do have our staff breakfast next Tuesday morning. So if you can make it, you're welcome to come. We'll be recognizing our new staff, and all of our staff we'll have breakfast
Tuesday.
7:30 in the morning at the high school. If you can make it,
Tuesday,
you're welcome to join us.